Ruben Amorim sprung a bit of a tactical surprise. He said until recently, certainly, that he would never change. Tonight he's gone with a back four. Why does it make a difference, Jamie?
It just feels right for Manchester United when you actually just see them play. And I think in the last few weeks we've seen something different, not just in the performance. We're not quite sure. Is it a back four? Is it a back five? We looked at that on Monday Night Football. But as we know with a lot of teams now, the formation with and without the ball can be completely different. But tonight, when you look at the team with the ball and without the ball, there's no doubt. It's a back four. It's a midfield four. Mason Mount's just off the front, and what it is, they're almost playing without a left winger. Cunha's almost just being the pocket player, and Luke Shaw is basically providing the width on that left side. But the strange thing about it is it's forcing Newcastle into a back five at times. They don't want to play a back five, they play a back four, but the setup for Manchester United has been really good, and they've caused Newcastle problems.
Has it helped them then?
Yeah, the balance of the team definitely been better. We discussed it before the match. Swelling good, being good going forward, but you got to have a good shape to you. And I like what I see with United tonight. I really do. I think the first half, the fact they're obviously winning helps. But the shape of when the game started, just on the eye, we're looking at going, just looked a little bit better. Players look comfortable, they look sharp, they're pressing at the right time.
Well done. Let you get back in the dressing room. Would you like to do the honours?
Yeah, bro.
Sorry, what?
It's fine.
He deserves it, but it's
You
my
can
first
share.
one. If it was my second one, it would be his. But
Your first and his first goal.
Yeah, it's fine, bro. We share it.
Thank you. Well done. First of all, that felt big tonight.
it was finally clean sheet. We've been waiting for this for a couple of weeks, and I'm just so happy. And yeah, this guy here, he helped us get there. So yeah, I'm just so thankful for everyone that helped us.
And this guy here, Patrick, I spoke to you before the game. You were feeling confident. You said you'd yourself had watched Newcastle and you thought of a way of trying to expose them. What a hit.
Yeah, it was a good hit. I didn't know I could do that, but but I was very happy to score my first goal in the stadium as well, so it was amazing.
Yeah, just talk us through that goal, though, because Ruben Amorim has spoken about perhaps maybe a little bit of nervousness and not so much confidence, but in the last few games and tonight, you just look so comfortable.
Yeah, I just took what he told me as to work on my confidence and stuff, and yeah, I think I did well today, and I just looked at the ball and I saw it drop and I just hit it. So.
Did he talk to you about your finish or how to finish even?
No, I've been practicing in training, so I think that's what helped me.
Your players, left foot to play on the right, don't they? Cutting in on that left foot. Listen, it remains to be seen. I think the big question for the manager is this a system that he's going to stick with, or is it because of the position he's found himself in terms of players that he's got, players who are out injured? So I think it remains to be seen what he will be doing over these coming weeks. But one thing we should say, it fooled us before the game, and it definitely fooled Eddie Howe and Newcastle, because there was a little mention about his goalkeeper going down, wasn't he, in that first half, to try and get that message on. So if Ruben Amorim can go forward and almost keep that way, you're going into games not 100% sure what the opposition are going to do. That's never an easy place to come up against an opposition when you're not quite sure what they're going to do, who they're going to play, and maybe that can be something that can add it to improve United.
Yeah, maybe they did catch him out. Yeah, maybe they have been a bit predictable. You know what's coming with them, but tonight, yeah, definitely caught everybody out.
Of course, I actually thought we started the game really well for the first 15-20 minutes, but then I think we were maybe slightly rocked by the goal. I don't think we responded well to that moment, and I was a bit disappointed at half-time with our inability to grab control of the game, because I thought it was there for us to take. And I don't think that it was a tactical issue for us. I don't think we looked as physically good as we did in our last game against Chelsea, where we were physically outstanding. But we got better in the second half and played with good rhythm, dominated the ball, and it was just the goal that was missing.
When you talk about that physicality then, what do you put that down to?
Yeah, it can be a huge number of things. I don't know. I just didn't think we looked... I mean, against Chelsea, I thought physically we were excellent, but we weren't as physically good.
The composure, anticipation, we're talking about them among the balls going into the box, but nobody was on the move, nobody was reading it, nobody was getting on the second balls. You look at the United goal, the ball was in the air a long time and nobody's getting to it. So there'll be a lot for him he'll be disappointed about. And again, we've said it many times, we've talked about the stats, we've got to put the ball in the back of the net. And for all their passing and probing, usually when you have that much stats, usually the goalkeeper gets man of the match when the ball's going in that much. But again, we barely mentioned the goalkeeper, so they've not tested the goalkeeper. And the bottom line is, when you have that much possession afterwards, you must be thinking, has the keeper made 4 or 5 outstanding saves? No, he's made maybe one decent save. We've seen a big win for United. we've seen all the stats before the game when Bruno's missing, etc. So for to come out, win an ugly game, and what the players have mentioned there, particularly from a defensive point of view, keeping that clean sheet. So we saw the stats, the amount of crosses that were going into the box, amount of times they had to clear their lines. Obviously, that's what they're supposed to do. But there has to be pride in your defending. Again, we've spoke many times over the last few months about how good United are going forward. The goal was fantastic, a special goal, great moment for him. But if you really want to make progress as a football club, it's got to be about being defensively solid and keeping clean sheet. It has to be.
Second clean sheet this season tonight.
Yeah, of course, but it's a start in terms of getting momentum for these younger players, because they would have heard over the last few days about the constant chat in the media is about players who are missing, and Bruno, that's what happens when your top lads are missing. So I said before the game, but you still have to find something. Yeah, he changed the system, they rolled their sleeves up towards the end, but that's part of football, surviving, hanging in there, digging out results. Your memory can play tricks on you. People go back to the teams I played in as if we played it well every week. We didn't. But we dug in and you found results. You mentioned there about winning league titles, keeping clean sheets. Again, they're not quite ready for that, but they have to start somewhere.
I think was the in the first half. I think we showed that I felt that was the only way to create more danger, to have more opportunities. Was with the back four, with a lot of guys inside. Even to kick the ball, because I remember the game from last year, we lost 1-against-1 outside. So we just tried to imagine the game and to help the players to feel comfortable.
Who knows? Strange enough, it's a hard game to analyse, and there was a lot of mad stuff going on. The fact that we were hanging in there at the end, the system, throwing young lads on at the end. But again, from ex-players watching the game tonight, when it started, it just looked a better feel to it. That's all. Obviously, if you're going to be a top player or a top manager, they'll have to adapt and try different things. But from what I saw tonight, yeah, I felt the players looked a bit more comfortable. That's all, and they looked at more of a goal threat. And of course, you back it up with a win and a clean sheet. That gives you the confidence and that the belief to believe this is the way to go forward.
We normally do like a sweep for a scoreline, don't we? I think we should probably do a sweep for, can you guess the starting lineup for Wolves next week, and the finishing lineup as well against Wolves?
But at least it's a good game from it's a game they'd fancy.
An opportunity.
An opportunity, to build on this now, to get another win under the belt. And I'll go back to that word, momentum. Try and get some momentum into the second half of the season, and that belief and confidence. Everyone talks about the way United should play, but at the end of the game, the United fans were celebrating. Deep down, they didn't care how they got over that line. They wanted to get a win, get some momentum, up to fifth now. And you know what, it's looking a little bit better. I came across Rob a few times, particularly when I first went to Forest as a young player. Met him around the obviously Nottingham area, got to know him a little bit, and what a brilliant guy. Soon found out, do my homework, what a brilliant player he was. But just as important as well, I've seen him over the last few years in a couple of social events. Top man, really cool guy, very humble, what a player, but what a brilliant man. And when that news came through yesterday, I knew he wasn't well, but it's still a shock when you hear the news. Forest home tomorrow, obviously, I'm sure they'll give him great tribute. Obviously, great memories of Forest, but very lucky to have met the man, and cool, humble guy.
Almost mythical status, Jamie, as a footballer who, according to Brian Clough and other teammates, didn't really like training that much.
No, but it didn't make too much difference. And you think of Nottingham Forest's story under Brian Clough, and arguably, probably, the greatest story in English football. When you think of a team getting up from the second division, win the league title, and then 2 European Cups on the bounce. I think still the only team in Europe who've got more European Cups than sort of national titles as well. And if he's the best player in that team, that's pretty special. So to go down as the greatest player in any club's history is pretty special. But certainly one who won 2 European Cups shows he was, as I said, one of the greatest players we've probably seen in English football.
And Rob have said it before. All they ever wanted, these players who were achieving great things, was a thumbs up from Brian Clough. That's all they ever wanted, and he got that plenty of times, and deservingly so.
He certainly